Welcome to Eventual Millionaire. I'm Jamie Masters, and I'm actually super excited because this is not your typical interview. I'm actually calling this Case Study Day, and I have an amazing client of mine, Erion Shehaj, right here, right now at investingarchitects.com. And I want him to really go through what he's been working on this whole past year so you guys know what's working right now. You've actually emailed me a lot wanting to have eventual millionaires on, not just millionaires, so people that are in the trenches and working their butts off so you guys know what's actually working right now. So I'm so thankful that Erion, you were able to come on. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me on. I'm honored.
So we have been working together forever, and it's hilarious because I'm like, wait, how do you pronounce your last name? Because I never say it. To be honest, I mean, I love you, Erion, and we've never done this before. But why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what type of business you have and what it was like when you started almost a year ago now with me?
So we run a business called Investing Architect. What we do is we put together portfolios for real estate investors so that they can achieve financial independence and basically live off of the income of the properties that they own. So when I started with a mastermind about a year ago, we had come off of a really good year, but I felt very scattered. I felt like I didn't have the clarity or the focus that I needed to take it to the next level. It almost felt like the business at that point had happened by accident rather than on purpose. So that was the main reason why I signed up. And that's what I was looking for. And boy, was I in for a surprise. During our first one-on-one coaching call, I mean, you provided that clarity. You narrowed the things down that I needed to focus on. And it was very liberating, right? I could just focus on those things rather than, just dealing with a million things at the same time.
What made you actually reach out? Because everybody has heard about coaches and blah, 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 blah. So I don't want to get into like, oh, we're having someone hold you accountable. But if you just had your best year ever, what made you go, I should go and find out how to do this better? Do you know what I mean? Like you did it yourself. Even if you didn't know exactly and you felt scattered, man, you did it yourself. Why did you even need help?
Well, so when you're so busy playing the game, sometimes it's really hard to kind of get that overview, and when you're so busy working in your business, it's hard to work on it, right? So, and I'd had an experience in the past with one of my mentors where, they gave me a piece of advice that it was at the same time simple and powerful, right? That it was a paradigm shift for the business. So I had seen that work. So I was looking for the next thing, right? The next paradigm shift that was going to do that.
And you're like, Jamie, you better deliver that. Come on. No pressure at all.
Nothing big. Just a paradigm shift, please, if you don't mind. But it was also a matter of, I'd spoken to actually a couple of coaches that I'd, investigated the idea of working with them. And it just wasn't a fit. And when we spoke for the first time, I mean, I just felt like I knew you for a long time, right? And it was just a fit from the beginning. And it was just, I guess it was a values fit and a style fit. And, it just worked.
So let's talk about brass tacks, because I'm sure everyone's like, okay, so how did you double? Because that's all, well, Jamie's nice. Thanks so much for saying nice things about her, which I so appreciate. And words of affirmation are my love language. Thank you for talking about me wonderfully, Erion. But what really did you do? Because what a lot of people will go is, great, just double what you're doing. Great, you were already on a trajectory of moving forward. Maybe she did nothing. And what were those pivotal things that you actually implemented that made a big difference besides the mindset stuff? Or maybe you can link it to the mindset stuff.
Well, I think I'm going to go back to the first coaching call, right? Yes, it was a mindset shift, but it was also, I'm a numbers guy, right? So I can appreciate metrics, right? So when somebody tells me these are the 3 metrics that will move the needle the most, I mean, I can run on that track all day long, right? Like I can do what I need to do. I just didn't know. So I was trying this way and that way and, going in a million different directions. So having the clarity of what actually makes the most difference, almost like the 80-20 principle, right? Like what are the 20% things that will, produce 80% of the results? I mean, that was both liberating because I didn't have to worry about everything else, right? It's almost like I made a deal with myself. Like I could worry about the rest of it later, or I could figure it out later. But now I'm just going to work on these active actions. And that was powerful, right? It was the paradigm shift that I needed at the time.
Isn't it funny how we as entrepreneurs need permission to like chill a little and not have to do everything all, all at once? So, I mean, some of the questions that I asked you, and this is what I do with all my coaching clients, is going, well, what's worked really, really well? Let's take past data. Let's find out what the metrics and numbers are, and let's try and predict as much as we can, because business isn't totally predictable, but let's take whatever we can and try and predict the future, or at least predict what actions we need to take in order to get the results that we want, which is just logical. Right. But what made you not do that beforehand? Do you know what I mean? It's not like it was rocket science. I mean, I'm smart, but
Well, when you're simultaneously the technician of your business and the coffee maker and the floor sweeper and the designer and everything else, right? It's very hard to be good at all those things. So almost having the permission to focus on the things that only I could do in my business most effectively, right? That's what causes that, right? And it almost reminds me of that story of the guy who, the plumber that got called to fix something, and he just, he had a hammer and he just hit it one time and he fixed it. And he said, well, you didn't do much, right? He's like, yeah, but I knew where to hit, right? Like I knew what I needed to do. And it's the same type of story here, right? It's knowing where to apply the pressure and where to go 110% on. Like that's invaluable. That's incredible.
So tell me more about looking over this past year, what tangibly you can give. So thinking of somebody that's listening is in a similar situation to you, maybe doesn't do as much money as you per year, but in general, like really wants to level up in 2017. What did you learn this year that you think will help their business to level up also?
So one of the things that I learned is that, if you're going to run a business that's bigger than you, right, you have to put it together and you have to eliminate the bottlenecks, right? And there's a reason why the bottleneck is always at the top, right, of the bottle.
Yep.
So, so you have to basically think of your business as a machine, right, and build the processes and the systems and understand what makes your business tick, right? And I mean, your business may be different. I'm pretty sure it is, right? But every business has those metrics and every business has those processes that make the difference, right? That was one item that I learned from Mastermind. The second thing that I learned was, that whole thing about, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Well, my average went up, right? So because, everybody that was in that mastermind was smarter than I was, right? They had more experience than I was in certain things, right? And they were very giving and very willing to share their experiences, right? And that was rare. And I think that's another dynamic that's super, super important in a mastermind is, and this, goes back to you, Jaime, is, the ability to pair people together, right? That would allow them to work best, right? The personalities, the abilities, the sort of the diversity of fields that they focus on. That's super, super important.
Oh yeah, I took weeks and weeks trying to get you guys because I feel like the strength of the mastermind is the bond between and the coaching. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely that too. But a lot of people find masterminds just sort of fall apart because there's just not the bond. And trying to have people that don't know each other bond is kind of difficult, right? So we're like, okay, let's do this. But the group that you're in is freaking fantastic, and I hope you guys will be friends for absolute ever. That's at least that was my goal when I paired everybody up. Going, I think they'll be friends forever. That's what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Oh, one more thing, if I can add, right? That I did forget, but it was super important. The mastermind retreat. It was the most amazing experience, the most amazing 2.5 days. That it was just all implementation, all action, learning. I mean, I just came back and my brain was buzzing with ideas and just conversations. We were talking to each other till midnight at times, just having these deep conversations about business and life and things like that. So it was incredible.
Well, let me ask you this in general, because I feel like in general, I think entrepreneurs need to go more deep, right? We go to conferences. I mean, you just came back from FinCon. Like you go to conferences, you're like, awesome, I'm meeting people. There's a whole lot of surface and not a lot
Right.
of deep in general. And so,
True.
how do you mitigate that? Like, because we only have so much time and you're trying to go and do everything all at once and you've got to go to conferences. And that's what we were trying to do with the implementation retreat. How are you going to go more deep now? Or what do you think the deepness has really made a difference in your life?
Well, I think that we sort of live in an era of you know information overload, right? So there's podcasts and there's ideas and there's conferences and books and there's just so much available, right? But you know that can often lead to paralysis, right? Like you just never take action on anything and you just become a consumer of all this information. So I think what I learned in this mastermind is that it's better to just give yourself permission to work on a handful of key ideas and key strategies and key tactics that you can put to work right now, rather than become a sort of a filing cabinet of ideas that you never take action on. Make sense?
Heck yeah, I preach it. You know that all the time. Because
and the choir said amen, right?
But that's the thing. Like I know how crazy it is for entrepreneurs, up and down and up and down. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. Oh wait, it sucks. Oh my goodness, right? And my
Right.
goal in general, especially because we have so much bombarded at us, is to make people have an easier time as best we can, right? Simple
Right.
at entrepreneurship. So that way they enjoy their life better. Because to me, I care about you as a human being in your life. Who knew, right? I mean, yes, I
Right.
care about how much money you make because that's what you're paying me for. But still, I care if you're happy. I mean, I've told people in the mastermind, take a vacation. Your wife will love me, right? Like, go, please. So when you're looking over this trajectory, especially with how things go up and down, I mean, we have burnout in general as entrepreneurs, but how have you made your experience this whole year easier, and how are you going to do it continually? Like what are some tips you can give people to try and make the growth easier? Because a lot of times people are like, I don't want to grow because it's just going to give me more crap and more things to do.
Right. So I remember when I first signed up for the mastermind, the very first thing that came in the mail like 2 or 3 days later was like this wall calendar that you sent me, right? And I basically pinned that to the wall and planned out the entire year, right? So there were everything that was important to me, things like spending time with my family, vacations, personal development, as well as other business things that normally go on a calendar were on there, right? And I don't have any data to back this up, but I think my calendar is pretty awesome. I think by the time that it's going to be done, it's going to be awesome. So there's this overarching theme, right, of sort of working on things on purpose in advance rather than being reactive, right, and then just going with the flow. And I'm a planner, and that just jives very well with who I am, right?
So I think that's one thing that's really, really important. The decisions we make, especially in advance, because it's a little easier if we can make it in advance than like on the fly, make
Right.
up what our life becomes, right? And so if we don't fit in the vacations, then you never take vacation. Or these are all just decisions, but sometimes they're so unconscious we don't even realize it. And my wall calendar's right there. I sent it to you guys because I use it all the time too, right? I need to see things visually in order to actually feel like I have a handle on things, because we can't
Right.
do everything all at once. As much as an entrepreneur, we want to. We're very impatient, right? We're like, I want it all now, and I want to do it all
Right.
now, and I expect everybody else to do it now for me. And that drives us nuts. So
Right.
I know we have to start closing in just a second because I want to keep this quick and to the point as much as humanly possible. But I'm going to ask the question. I'm sure I'll have you on the show as soon as you're a millionaire, Erion, because oh man, of course, what you're
I'm coming
doing.
for you.
Seriously. We doubled his goal again. So like in the group, one of the calls, we were like, Erion, oh my gosh, you're already going to crush your goal, so we're going to have to up it. He's like, well, I think you like crushing goals. That's always fun. We're like, no, we're not going to let it be that easy for you. So I'm sure you will be on very soon. So I'll ask you this question in preparation, of course, for next time. But what is one action you think people should take this week to help move them forward towards their goals this year?
Well, I think it's I think the one action that you can take is to try and take inventory of all of the, tasks and things that you do in your business, and then assigning a value to those tasks and figuring out, what you should delegate, what you should completely eliminate, and what you should focus on. I think taking a couple of hours this week to do that, I think will pay tremendous dividends for anybody that does it.
You know that very well, because I know when you did it. And delegating and I mean, you're hiring right now. You're doing amazing things. So tell everybody where they can find out more about you, because I've recommended you to a bunch of friends too. Like what you guys do at your site is phenomenal. So tell people where they can find you and a little bit more about who you work with.
Okay, so we help successful professionals achieve financial independence through real estate investments. They can find out more at investingarchitect.com, or they can follow me on Twitter in INV Architect on Twitter.
Awesome. Okay. So that was a little vague though. So you actually help people invest in real estate and know like what deals are good. This is why you're a numbers guy. You're fantastic at that part.
Right. So we put a plan for them. So much like you would plan for your business, we would plan for their retirement.
Exactly. I'll come to you for real estate, everything. I've actually given, so on your blog, you have some amazing articles, and I've sent those to millionaires that I've interviewed and friends and stuff like that too. So we really appreciate everything that you're doing and putting all that out there. Thanks so much for coming on today, Erion. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate you, Jaime. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that interview with Erion. And so he has created amazing numbers and amazing success. You can check out his specific blog post, which actually dives into his numbers a lot more, about making $27,000 a month beforehand and now almost $55,000 a month, and actually having less stress. And he talks a little bit more about it on the blog post. So go check out eventualmillionaire.com/Erion, ERION, so that way you can get more information and brass tacks on what worked for him. I know we tried to make the interview a little bit shorter, so that way you could scoop up all the wisdom, and you can always go further if you need to. So if you are a six-figure business owner and you want to join us on the relaunch of this new mastermind, definitely let us know. Go to eventualmillionaire.com/app, APP, fill out the application, and we'll chat on the phone and see if it's a good fit. I will only tell you if I think that I can help you. If I can't, I will definitely give you the right path to go down. Okay, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I hope you're inspired by hearing some amazing success stories of people that are in the trenches right now. They aren't millionaires yet. They're doing amazing things as they're moving through, and I want you to have some successful mindset on going that you can do it too. It's amazing what we can do now in the technology that we have, and I want to help you as best as humanly possible. So let me know what you think. Take care. Bye.